So in this problem, you've been given position, and you've been asked for the time or times when the particle is moving with acceleration equal to 0. So that means if I want acceleration, I need x double prime is the same as acceleration. But also, they told me the particle is moving. Why did they tell me that? Everything in AP questions means something, and so this case, if something's moving, its velocity cannot be 0. So those are a couple things that we need to think about. So we're going to start by taking the first derivative. And as I see, looking at this, it looks like a pretty obvious product to me. So the derivative of the first, that'll be my f prime. Well, that's going to be 3 times t minus 1 to the power of 2 times g, which was 2t plus 1. So here's my f prime, here's my g, plus my g prime will just be 2, because the derivative of 2t plus 1 is 2, times t minus 1 to the power of 3. This is equal to x prime, which is really velocity. And so this is kind of a mess, but I'm going to look to see if I can factor this. There's a t minus 1 to the power of 2 and a t minus 1 to the power of 3. So I'll factor out a t minus 1 to the power of 2 from both terms. The first term is 3 times 2t plus 1. And the second term is this 2 times a t minus 1 factor. I'll do a little bit of simplifying. T minus 1 squared. This is going to be 6t plus 3. And this will be 2t minus 2. That simplifies to 8t plus 1. So this is equal to velocity. And we said the velocity cannot be equal to 0. So that means none of our answers could be t equals 1 or could be negative 1 over 8, because those are the solutions to both of these factors. Now I'm going to take the derivative again. I'm looking for v prime, which is really acceleration. Well, guess what? It's another product rule problem. Here I'm going to have 2 times t minus 1 to the first times 8t plus 1 plus the derivative of the second is 8 times t minus 1 squared. Now I'll see that there's a t minus 1 in both terms. So what's left in the first term is 2 times 8t plus 1. And what's left in the second term is an 8 times a t minus 1. Well, as I simplify here, we're going to have t minus 1 times 16t plus 2 plus 8t minus 8. That simplifies to 24t minus 6. This is equal to acceleration. And for something to have 0 acceleration, then we're going to set this equal to 0. So each of these factors would be set to 0. And our answers would be t equals 1 and t equals 6 over 24, which simplifies to 1 over 4. So these appear to be the two answers when we have acceleration equal to 0. But because they asked for us to be moving, then we cannot use the t equals 1 time, because that's when we're stopped. That gave us a velocity equal to 0. So our only answer is t equals 1/4. that's a hard problem. That's a 4 or 5 type of problem on an AP test.